The following is brought to you by our friends over at Actable. Actable gives you the power to profit. Please check them out at actable.com and enjoy today's show. Everybody, it's your hospitality friend Glenn with the one and only Anthony Melchiorri. And today we're going to be talking about, we talked about it a lot, but with the new wrinkle, staffing, aren't we?
So you know what? I take offense to you say the one and only Anthony Melchiorri.
All right, there may be more than you, but you are the only one that matters to me.
No, I might be a clone. You don't know. Yeah.
That is true. The new movie, Anthony 17 is coming out any day now. Hopefully.
As I mean Ron Paul age, Ron Paul does look like my clone.
That is true. He's World Hotels. All right. So what we were talking about is, staffing continues to be an issue, but sometimes you don't need someone for the entire time going forward. Maybe sometimes you need a little pinch hitter, a little help. Here's he, there's he. And our friend and entrepreneur, Peter Wenzell of Wenzell and Fisher, he thinks he's got this all figured out, doesn't he? How you doing, Peter? Great to see you.
Good, good. How we doing, guys? Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
All right, it looks like we've got your other company name on there. We want Wenzell Fisher Hospitality Group.
Yes, yes, Wenzell and Fisher.
For this, Peter, maybe you can hook me up on a vacation or something like
Yes, absolutely.
that. Great to see you.
Yes, thank you guys both for having me on, and you guys are doing great work for our industry, and I'm happy to be here to be able to talk a little bit about our business and what we've done in the last 5 years. We've been in business almost 5 years come January, so I'm very thankful for that. And
So give us the elevator pitch of what your company does.
so essentially, what we do is when a hotel has a short-term need, I can have a management company call me and say, "Hey, Peter, we need a general manager for a Marriott hotel in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, or Wisconsin, or wherever." We go out and we look through our database and all the consultants and find somebody that knows the brand, knows the systems, that can plug and play. It's a temporary fix that needs help now. Hotels, you can't just have gaps. You can't. And so when they try to take somebody from one hotel and move them around, it doesn't work.
Right.
So we're the one-stop shop to where you need someone to plug and play tomorrow. We're going to find someone who can come in that knows the brands, knows the system, and get in and make it happen and hit the ground running on a contract basis. So they come in.
One of the things that's interesting to me when you have a senior operator, and if say they worked at one brand or they never worked at the brand, they worked at independence, and now all of a sudden you need them to go run one of the big brands for a temporary time. And their general manager or vice president, they have a staff. Is it really necessary that they understand the brand?
Yes, in a lot of cases it is. They want, for example, I'll have clients say, "We need somebody that knows Marriott and can't veer from that." But if you have a bigger box hotel someone might say, for example, last week I had someone said Hilton really isn't necessary, but food and beverage, heavy F&B and rooms is. So we can plug and play the brands. Every brand is different, but you need to have the different skill sets that, they're looking for. It depends. I've had people who say, "Hey, send me someone with great service. We can train them on the system." So it really depends on the need of the hotel.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that because to me, it's more important that the person knows how to run a hotel. The brand systems. I mean, how many general managers of these big boxes are sitting there actually on the systems? They have people doing that, and so especially if it's temporary. So I just hate when I see really good talent sit on the sidelines because they don't check a box.
Absolutely. And, when I get full service requests, big box hotels, I'm going to my former VP of ops and such like that. And sometimes hotels will be like, they haven't been in the game, on property because now it's different. They need everyone to be hands on. This isn't, you don't have 15 managers nowadays. So it's a world of being hands on no matter the position. So,
Yeah, I have, it's funny because in the consulting I do today, if I didn't do the consulting I do, I would have this complete misconception of today's hotel business. If you're not a general manager that can roll their sleeves up and push the buttons to your point, you're in trouble.
yep.
But if
Yep.
you're an operator, you can figure it out.
you can jump into any brand and figure it out. It's, do you know how to be hands-on in today's climate? Because that's the thing. Nobody that we send, and I make it very clear, my team does, to consultants who want to join us, this isn't a paper pushing position. It is hands-on, no matter if you're going for a front desk agent or a GM, food and beverage, it doesn't matter. We need that.
GMs didn't used to check people in. I go to the hotels and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And they're like, "I'm scheduled today." You're scheduled with front desk.
Yep. 'Cause it's all about labor management too.
I was about to say that owner sounds like he needs to get in touch with Peter immediately over here. But Peter, I just want to give full disclosure, everyone. This is not a paid endorsement or anything like that. I just was unaware of this type of business, and I thought it would be really interesting. I figured after being in the business for almost 30 years, if I didn't know about it, a few of you out there are probably didn't even realize this. So you said you started 5 years ago in January. Congratulations! My anniversary is 10 years in January. So we're January 1, brothers, over here for starting our businesses. Why? What made you do it? What was the hole in the market? And how'd you get the guts to do it?
Well, I always knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur from a young age, and thankfully throughout my career, I was given opportunities to work my way up, and from front desk agent and so on and so forth, and GMs, and COVID came, right? And so COVID came and I said, "You know what? I think this is the time." And honestly, you want me to be transparent of how I came up with the idea? I was sitting by a pool and I said, now it's time to do it. Hotels need staff. I see it at where I'm at, and there's never any better time. And honestly, I didn't know how it was going to go. I believe we'd be successful
Mhm.
because of the way we want to take care of people and give good service. But I took a risk, and I believe that you have to take calculated risk. And if you don't, you'll never know.
Mhm.
So it all started back in December of 2020. Put down the pen into the pad with my best friend Zach, where the Fisher comes from.
Yeah.
We've been best friends for 18 years, and he's the finance guy, and I'm the business development hotel guy. And we did it. I mean, we literally just took an idea. I had helped a friend. He was gonna start a task force business, but he went into third party management, and I told him, I said, I want to do this on my own.
Mhm.
And we just it didn't take long. It took 3 weeks to get our first contract. I worked the first contract. It was a full service Marriott, and then LinkedIn is a powerful tool, as you both know,
Yep.
and it caught on. And I mean, we've now had over 500 consultants that's worked for us, or more at this point. You know,
Wow.
so
So
almost years.
so when you first started, I want to see if I'm clairvoyant here. Give me the first example of where you put somebody in temporarily, in a contract, and the owner called you and said, "Pierre, I love you. This is not going to work." How did you handle that? And did that happen?
Well, we've had it to where, look, if you're talking about consultants, you can interview everybody. We do full references, background tracks, the whole thing. They can give you the world of how they perform, right? But you never know when they get there. We like to think that we send good people, but it is true that they get there and sometimes they flop. It happens. So we try to work on it, and I'm always involved, and I tell the owner or GM or whatever the case is, we apologize, and we try to see if there's a solution for them to have them stay. If not, we pull them for the contract and we look for somebody else to go in.
So I'm asking this for a very important reason. Did you ever lose a client over it?
Honestly, it's all about service recovery. I think that recovery is the same as if you're in a hotel to how my job is. They know that we can't control everything. Okay.
Yep.
And I'm going to be honest, I'm sure that, it's happened a couple times and client has tried somebody else, but they might come back to us. Why? Because it happens with every task force company,
Right.
unfortunately.
And the reason I brought that up early in the conversation is because I want people to know when you're running your own business or you're an entrepreneur, it's not the screw ups, it's your recovery.
Yep.
And so thank you for being honest with that, because that tells you even more reason for somebody to hire your company, because we're not perfect people. You can say I was in that business and all of a sudden you put me with a client, and I've done everything,
Right.
but I may not be somebody's cup of tea. right?
It might not be a fit. It might not be a fit for the client, or it might not be a fit for the consultant. And then I get calls all the time. Peter, this isn't what I thought it would be. Well, guess what? It's task force. I was a task force GM for years, and
Well,
I simply can talk to them and say, we could go in as one position, but 2 weeks later, we might be in a totally another position. And we're there to just deliver the ultimate hospitality experience, what we say, no matter what we do. So, to your point, we're not perfect. People have come, they've been let go, it hasn't been a fit, and we recover. And whatever that recovery means, I don't care if I have to, give money back or credit or something. It's a partnership. This is not a transaction for you. This is long-term partnerships that we try to make here at WNA.
and I think a lot of people try to be perfect, and it's like, oh my God, they didn't like it. No, that's good. Because now you have a chance to show what you're really about. Now you get to show the difference between your company and everybody else's company.
Yeah, and there's been plenty of times where clients will be like, "Peter, I know this is not on you, but we need to talk through this and see how we can make it work." And we're happy to have those tough conversations. Do I take them personally?
Uh-oh. You left us hanging there. There's a cliffhanger now.
He takes it personally, he doesn't take it
I
personally.
know. Stay tuned. Find out. I'm gonna hit the
I
pause.
take it personally that he about the recovery, right? It's really about the recovery.
It's all about the recovery because in any business you're in, hotels or restaurants or whatever, service recovery is key, and it's how about you go about it, and how can you win something over in a tough situation because things are thrown at us. I may not be on property, but I assure you, we deal with the same stuff that on property leaders deal with.
Yeah. So I love all of that, but let's talk about other parts of this. I want to number one talk about the hustle and the grit that you had to have in order to be successful at this. You really undersold yourself. You made it sound as if you put up a couple of things on LinkedIn and everything else kind of happened on its own. That did not happen. What was it really like, and how did you figure it out?
I'll be honest, I didn't have a clue what we were doing when we
Right?
were.
I don't think any of us have a clue.
I mean, I did it.
We're
We
just
had very
yeah.
we got our first role. It was out in California, and this hotel needed I'll never forget it, an assistant front office manager. We got somebody else there. They're like, "Hey, do you guys have a chief engineer?" We got somebody else there, and we didn't have a payroll system, anything figured out. So we created an Excel document to track time and expenses, and we came up with hours and how it all works. And we learned so much, and I'm still learning today.
Yeah.
We just were able to grind and find the right people. And honestly, Glenn and Anthony, it's all about who you know and how you treat people. That's it. And we came up with the systems and processes, and then about a year and a half later, we incorporated a whole payroll system and platforms and all that fun stuff. But how we did it was, I mean, it was about making personal connections and being good to people and figuring it out and being involved. I try to visit our team members and our clients when I'm on the road. If I have team members at a hotel, I go to see them. Clients, I go to see them. Conferences, I try to sponsor as many as we can and show our support for our partners that trust us to serve their hotels. A lot of hard work, long nights, but a lot of fun.
Was there ever a moment where you're like, this isn't gonna work?
Of course.
There's always the here's the thing. We started off in a perfect time. I mean, we couldn't have done a better time. So honestly, 21 was spiking, 22 spiked, 23 was the best year we ever saw. 24 went down, and 25 we ups and downs. So when you're on contract basis, you wonder what is the trend. Now I know task force will never go away, but when you start getting lower numbers than you're expecting, you wonder, but there's never a time that we stop. That's when we went harder, and we kept pushing, and we are doing very well today to finish 2025, some of our highest numbers we've seen all year. So
So, a lot of the brands have their own task force. I know Marriott, a lot of retired GMs and stuff come back, and they don't really need the work. They want to kind of stay busy, and they'll take a good friend of our show and our friend. Uh, this person goes every time I call her, she's somewhere else, and she's retired and she's doing well, but she wants to stay busy. And so do you compete with the brands too? Like they have their own task force?
So management companies and the brands have their own task force teams, a lot of them. But there's only so many permanent task force team members
Right.
that are on their team.
Right.
And the appeal about a task force company like ours is that they're 1099 consultants. So 2025 is about flexibility. So they could take a 30-day project and they want to extend. Everybody wants to make money, but
Right.
you could say, I want 2 months off and take it off and be able to come back if you do a good job and you're in good standing. So I think this type of task force is different, but it allows a lot more flexibility than what I call being a W-2 employee. So
So Peter, later, show me the list of people who are not in good standing. Send it to me.
I'll let you know. It's that'll be a topic of conversation. We have a lot of good people, and look, I believe in second chances too. Like we talked about earlier, people who go to a project, it doesn't work out, unless something tragically happens. I can't give you a second chance. I want to give our team members a second chance to show it, and because I was given second chances and third chances in my career, so I believe in that.
Yeah, Peter, again, in the spirit of I don't know any of this kind of world. What type of people want to focus on being in task and going all over the country and all of that kind of stuff? Because I'm sure there are some people that are maybe have full-time jobs that are interested in it or hadn't entered the industry because they didn't know this is an option to travel and see the country or the world.
Oh yeah, I mean we have people who find out about us just from having other team members in hotels. That's a gray area. We never talk to somebody that already works with one of our partners full time for obvious reasons, but
Mhm.
a lot of people don't know about it. But the walks of life of people could be, a single person just wanting to travel. It could be, somebody that's married that can do it, that can travel around. It is all types of different walks of life that want to do it. And why? Because number one, you're making pretty good money, and number two, the flexibility. We can here at WNF, we try to coordinate and negotiate terms that makes it work. Now we have our standard, but if you need to go home on a certain holiday or something, we're going to try to make it work for you.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what walk of life or whatever the case might be. We're here to help you and and make it work. So it's literally, I mean, we have, I can't tell you. I mean, every single walk of life working with us.
In talking to you and getting to know you a little bit, I know Glenn's a big fan, but I don't really know you. And like you have the right temperament for this business, for this specific business of our business, right?
Right.
And because the flexibility in what you're talking about and that personality, not a lot of people can do. And it seems that you have that temperament that's why you're successful.
Well, it's about you can't lead somebody the same way. You can't talk to somebody the same way as you can with another person. You have and each individual project is different than the next. So, and you have to know who will fit your partner's values. I learn, our partner's values and I learn the type of people they're looking for and, we try to fit them within the right culture. And a lot of our partners want the same people back that we've sent. We have a lot of that. Hey, can I have so and so back? They did a fantastic job, or we want to keep extending. And you have to
Or
learn in person.
yeah, or it'll be like they did a great job in Nashville. Now we got this other thing coming up in San Antonio.
Absolutely, that happens all the time. And also, temp to perm. If someone does a good job, they can. I just had it over the weekend. This hotel wanted to buy out a consultant because they did so well, and it was an executive chef, and now he's full time with this management company. So that's what I call the perfect match because we brought someone to the table. It's a trial period, and they hired him full time, and that means we partner with great people because our team members like working with them. So it's good.
Yeah, and today, talent, you throw the word talent around like it's, easy. But really finding real because real talent isn't the chef that's able to make a great dish. Real talent is an inventory because now AI is going to take care of all that. Real talent is being able to talk to that kid that never ever worked in the kitchen and also talk to the asset manager at the monthly meeting and both people feel like this person knows what they're talking about. And that is the talent that's missing.
And also the thing about it is giving people opportunities, that person who's ready for the next step. Somebody that might have been that AGM that could go on to be a, select serve GM or something. I want to give people those opportunities over somebody that's been doing it for a long time if our partner will give it to them because likely they're going to they're hungry for it. So,
I think, people talk about typecasting in California, in Hollywood. Typecasting in our business is horrendous. Well, you work in food and beverage, you work in housekeeping, you work in sales. You've never worked at the front desk, you never worked in revenue management. And like I'm like, I don't care. I've never cared about that. But you know better than anybody. Like we typecast people in this industry.
yeah, a resume unfortunately speaks a lot for you, and you have to. I'll look at resumes, and then someone be like, "Oh, I've done a courtyard before." Well, where is it on your resume? Put it on there. Let's go through the system. Tell me if you can do it. Then I'll go to our partner and say, "You got a heck of a personality. You've used the system once or twice, so that doesn't matter to me. You can learn it, and or you've used it for a brief period of time." Service and personality means more to me than understanding a system.
As it should.
It should in any walk of life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, for the 1 millionth time on our show, you could always train the skill, but you can't train behavior. Or
You have to get a doctorate and figure it out.
yeah.
We don't. I'll be the first to say I didn't go to college. I didn't. I was just given where real life world opportunities to show what I could do and people who took chances on me. And that's the position I'm in now is able to pay it forward to others the best I can.
Peter, I've gotten to know you at industry events, so obviously that seems to be a cornerstone of your marketing strategy. Yeah, how do you approach going to events and creating those relationships that lead to placements for you?
Well, for example, it is all about getting out there and meeting people. We are a virtual company. All 99% of my business is dealing virtually with our partners or Google Meets or Teams or whatever you want to call it. But and your good friend Craig, I got to know him how LinkedIn and emails and everything else, and he had me on Click a couple years ago, and we stayed connected. But guess what? He had me on Click and so I want to show him support. So where did I meet you? Out in California earlier this year.
Exactly right. Yep.
So it's about helping each other out and being there for each other and doing what we can. So
And that having the scarcity mindset where if you're doing better, then that means I'm not doing better. It's about relationships. And, I think one of the things that is really important is if you give your word, you have to back up your word. And, anybody who knows me knows I'm easy to deal with until I'm not.
yeah,
And if you say you're going to do something, you don't do it, you're probably not going to talk to me again. And so, but on the other hand, I think Rachel Humphrey put something on LinkedIn, a quote that I saw on her podcast. And it was, if you want me in a foxhole and you want me to take the hill, we're going to get that hill. We're going to win that hill and we're going to do it if I give you my word. And I think that that's why you're successful because you give your word, you show up for friends, whether it's going to cost you $1 or it's not going to cost you $1.
absolutely. And we invest into our industry and into the people that take care of us, whether it's, going to California, who what do it doesn't matter to us. We're gonna do it, and that's the fun part is getting out there and meeting everybody in person. That's where relationships really take off.
Yep, sure does. And it's so great to see that you've got that attitude. And listen, for folks out there, just getting out there, being in the mix because he took a chance and supported Craig. He met me. He meets other people. We had a great dinner that night. I recall, like
We had a good time.
something like that, right? You got to meet some other people, and your community continues to grow and grow and grow.
Yeah. And also in talking to you, one of the things I know that you're not a fan of, just hearing you for the not fair club. You're not in the not fair club, right? You hear a lot of people in business, it's not fair. I bet you those words have never come out of your mouth.
It's not fair, is what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
Oh, you make your own destiny. Well, you can control what you can control. In our business, it is all about demand. So you can't necessarily make a hotel need staff, But what I always tell my
Well, that's where my new business comes into play. If a hotel's overstaffed, I'll fix that problem so you could come in and make
and some owners, they need to know how to cut costs and whatnot. And
money.
honestly, I send a price out and they're like, wow, X amount of dollars plus travel and all of this. But you got to remember, you're not paying the taxes, the benefits, the
That's
insurance,
right.
into that with us. And it's a temporary fix.
Yeah.
And so I remind that to owners and they're like, "Oh, you know what? You're right."
But
Sometimes it doesn't always work, and that's okay. You have my information. Call me if another situation works out, if the budget gets bigger at another hotel, or if we can't make it work, we'll be here to help you in the future and let's stay connected.
Yeah, one of the things that I find is it's not all, but a lot of listen, there's budgets, right? But if you take care of people, and sometimes if you overspend, meaning it's not in your budget, and you're treating people and they're treating you well, that overspending, if you want to call it overspending or investing, I'll call it investing, comes back to you a hundredfold.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, it's just that you have to invest into this. Yes, you're giving up a complimentary room for the period of time, whether it's 30 days, but you're either pulling somebody from another hotel if you don't have in-house task force or whatnot, and you want our team to teach your team and lead knowledge and wisdom and leave an impact. So I love to hear stories when that's done.
that's great.
There's so much to this that is just great.
Peter, last question for you. When you first got no's, and no is the reality of every business, how did it affect you? And if it affected you negatively, how did you finally beat that to death so no's wouldn't bother you anymore? Maybe they still do. I don't know.
No, I mean, look, you want to win every deal. You want to make it work for everybody, but it's not going to work for everybody. Task force, for example, I had a company reach out last week. I need a task force GM and food and beverage manager. We need it now. This is a perfect deal. We were referred to them.
Yep.
I'll talk to them. We had a great call, got a quote over, and nothing back.
Right. And that was it.
After a couple follow-ups. Why? Well, probably the pricing, but guess what? They'll probably come back in a couple of weeks and say, "Hey, can we work this out with you? We this."
Yeah.
And that's what I mean when people get sticker shocked. And WN, we will do our best to work with you. And I always tell clients, we will work with you. But so at the beginning, yes, no's were like, but it's mainly over pricing. And if you just can't make it work, you can't make it work. I have to make it work, for everybody involved. But
Kid,
consulting.
I sent you my cell number in the chat. If you're short somebody and you're looking for somebody, just call me. There's 100 times a week I have somebody calling me saying, "Hey, do you know somebody? I need a job temporarily, whatever." So use me as a resource.
Absolutely. I appreciate that, Anthony. I mean, your story is incredible and, would love to stay connected. And look, that's how we met. I've heard about you for so many years and now this is how we met because Glenn and I met. So to your point,
What you should do is you should come with me to a convention. Just walk with me alone. And everybody comes up to me. And the first question they ask is, "Where's Glenn?"
he's out there producing and getting on shows. What do you mean? That's no.
I was like, I just went to the hotel show, and I swear to God, people come over to me, shake my hand, go, "Oh, Wayne, God, nice to meet you. Where's Glenn?"
The sidekick, right?
Well, but listen, you talk about work ethic and you talk about working it. Like I've never seen anybody to this day, ever outwork him when it comes to building his business. And when people say Glenn's everywhere, yeah, because it's 20 years or 10 years of every plane, every Sunday morning, every Friday, every Thursday, every Wednesday, working, and he knows everybody. And so when you get a guy that's like, I'm pretty known, right? People see
Oh,
me,
yeah.
but the first question is,
Because they know where you are. I get the same question. Where's Anthony? So,
yeah, you walk in the convention center, does anybody say, "Where's Anthony?"
yeah,
No shit.
it's true. It's true. And talk about being in the airport all the time. I got to be in the same airport this past week as we were recording this, Peter, on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So that was really exciting. I even
AFK, you going out of the
I
aisle?
I was actually, this is now a while, as we're airing this, it's a month probably since the hospitality show, but if I got stuck in Denver.
Listen, he travels so much, TSA says, "Come on in, Glenn." And the pilot says, "Here, sit here. Sit next to the navigator. No problem."
In the Delta One, I said, we see the pictures, we know.
Delta One, what?
They let him fly the plane now.
Well, there's no.
Well, actually, soon, if this thing doesn't come to a stop, he's gonna be the air traffic controller.
Why do you think there's so many problems right now with LaGuardia? Because I've been chipping in. All right, Peter, before we wrap up, please tell us how we could learn more about your business over at Wenzell and Fisher.
Absolutely. You could go to our website at wenzellfisherhg.com. We have a whole host of information about us. Additionally, you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm always there, so you can connect with me, and we can set up a time to chat, whether it's you wanting to learn more about how to become a task force consultant, and to new owners who may not have known about this concept, or management companies that are using another task force company that wants to try something else. Reach out to me, and we want to talk to you. We want to be the company that is here for our industry, no matter what that means.
Awesome. Thanks, Peter. Really appreciate you. We'll see you. We'll see you on the road for sure.
We're up here. We'll be out there.
All right. I want to thank you guys for being here today. That was a real fun one, Anthony. I know we got to wrap up because you guys probably have stuff to do. But while you're doing that stuff, why not download our audio versions? Listen to that on your commute, wherever. Follow us on LinkedIn, wherever you get your shows. Remember, everybody, you've got one life, so blaze on and
Be kind to yourself.
hasta luego. Bye, everybody.